Hello, everybody. My name's Gigi, and this is technically my first video. I'm like, this is my cat. She is being very clingy today, so she just wants to be around me and us now. I'm like very technical, technologically challenged, so it took me forever to set this up. I really like the format of the photo booth because I have always wanted to try to create content, but I didn't like I wanted to like set it up kind of like almost like a streamer vibe, but I'm like I don't really play video games. I don't want like that Twitch setup. But I saw a few people do this. Like I originally saw it on TikTok and I feel like it fits really well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of using this as like my yap-let. I'm calling it my yap-let, because I feel like I yap way too much in like my group chats, just in general, and I feel like I have a lot of thoughts that I need to get out there. I wanted to record this outside, but if you live in the Midwest or near a Great Lake, it's like freezing. It's middle of May. Thought it'd be warmer by now, but it's just not. So we're in my living room and the lighting's really gray outside, but I'm just trying to keep it real, honestly. I've been wanting to make content for a while, but I really think that this was a good starting point because I realized like all week I've just been really depressed and irritable and like triggered, and I don't even like mean oh quirky, like oh I'm this or that, like, but I was thinking like why do I feel this way? And it's because my birthday's coming up. My birthday's Monday. I just think that's something nobody really talks about is like the birthday blues. So that's what we're going to be getting into in this video. So I kind of made like a little PDF and GoodNotes. This is why I also like this format because I take a lot of like notes and make a lot of flow charts and timelines and things of that nature. So I thought that this would be pretty accessible for me, somebody who doesn't really know how to use a computer too well. I mean, like I do, like I'm Gen Z, but all right. So, yeah, I don't know. I've just always had like this somber feeling surrounding my birthday, and I'm just kind of putting this out there to see if anybody else feels the same way. Birthdays have like this innate feeling of celebration. So I've been trying to reflect on my birthdays in my entire life. So I'll probably post this on my birthday. It's like a few days before my birthday. It's May 22nd. I turned 25 on the 25th. It's my golden birthday. And I think that's also putting a lot of pressure on it because I'm turning 25. My prefrontal cortex is technically scientifically developing. I'm hitting quarter of a century and it's my golden birthday. I'm turning 25 on the 25th, and I just think that that puts kind of like a new feeling towards it. When we're kids, if you live like a normal life, I don't know. I know a lot of people really haven't. A lot of people have had sad childhoods. I'm in the in between of I had a sad childhood, but it was okay at the same time. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. I feel like when you're a kid, everybody's excited to celebrate you. The cake is for you, the gifts are for you, everybody's there for you to watch you have a good time. And it's just at a certain point, like, you kind of start buying your own birthday cake and planning your own parties and being the one to hype everybody up for yourself. I just was thinking, when did that climate change? When did the climate of birthdays change? I honestly don't remember having like a sweet 16. I don't remember a lot of my birthdays really being happy, honestly. This kind of goes into the next point, which, yeah, if you like want to look at my little pictures, I just was really resonating with a sad clown, and I love clowns and cats, but which like sucks because I feel like I'm a very happy person overall. Like I've really trained my brain to be happy, which I might make another video about that in the future. Like training your brain to be happy, like neuroplasticity, rewiring your brain to think positively. And that's just how I am now and at this point in my life. So when I do feel these feelings of sadness and depression and dread surrounding a day that I'm supposed to feel celebrated, it makes me feel really guilty because I feel like I'm regressing from all the work that I've done to myself. But I don't really know how to work around that. I think that maybe that's just part of being human. maybe something, just a feeling that we have to live with. Back to, I don't feel like I've ever really had a super happy birthday, and it kind of stems from having mentally ill parents. I don't want to call my mom a narcissist because she had a lot of mental illness. My mom's passed now. Bless her soul. Love her. She had a lot of issues. Maybe we'll delve into that in the future. I feel like a lot of people, especially our generation, Gen Z, our parents didn't really believe in a lot of self healing, mindfulness. They didn't really believe in that. And if they did, they didn't know how to apply it or weren't given the skills to apply it also. Yeah, I just feel like growing up, my mom kind of ruined every single one of my birthdays. Like, kind of made it about her, had a mental breakdown on that day. Like, for example, my last birthday with her was my 17th birthday. I was already going through a really hard time at that point. I had like a really crappy boyfriend. I was also living with my mom, who was, like I said, extremely mentally ill. But my last memory with her from my birthday is I was 17 and she just disappeared for 3 days. So I was alone in the house for 3 days. I had no clue where she was at. She wasn't answering any of my texts, any of my calls, nothing. And actually, I had written her a poem that day because I knew that she was feeling really, really upset to help her feel better. And she ended up just kind of disappearing. And then I later found out that she had tried to herself and ended up in jail overnight and then was let go and walked miles and miles through fields until she got to her sister's house. And then I finally got a response a few days later. That was like my last birthday with my mom before she passed. I guess I just realized that all of my birthdays and milestones in life have been me having to take care of other people. And I feel like that just puts a big sense of responsibility on somebody when they're young. It's just weird that we attach this criteria to the day of our birth, you know? Because the older I get, the more all I really want out of a birthday and out of life is to be with my loved ones. Like, that's what means the most out of anything in the world, is being with my loved ones and the people that I love and doing the things that I love. And I won't lie, like at this point in my life, I do get that in a sense. I do have really awesome friends and I have a really awesome boyfriend, and I am close with the family that I do spend time with. There's still this sense of, I don't really know how to explain it, somberness. But maybe that's where we get into the performative happiness, like the feeling that you have to be happy on your birthday. You have to be happy that a year's passing and you're reaching these milestones. It just all feels like forced at the end of the day. You know, you have the party and you light the candles and you sing the song. It's just everybody's expecting you to be having this grand time. But in reality, I feel like those moments just kind of bring up bad memories, at least for me, or the feeling of I'm not doing enough, or the feeling of this doesn't feel like how it used to feel like, and I'm feeling guilty for it, because that's where it goes into me rewiring my brain to be happy. I am happy. I do know life is a gift. I'm so thankful for this life. Like, I know that my soul chose to be here for a reason and chose to live the life of Gigi. Like, chose to live the life of me. And anytime I start feeling like I'm taking that for granted, I just spiral, just a guilt spiral. And birthdays are a big trigger of that for me specifically. I guess moving on now, we'll talk about like an arrival fallacy. I just want like the article that I had originally. That would be really, really cool and nice. That would be really awesome. All right, well, like I said, I'm technologically challenged, so I tried to put a link into my GoodNote, and my GoodNote would not share to my MacBook because I like doing it on my iPad. The link, like, obviously did not transfer to the PDF, so can't remember what article I even had on there. But this one looks like a pretty good one. Basically, the arrival fallacy is the idea that reaching a milestone or a goal is going to make you happy. So, getting a degree, getting a promotion, getting a new job is going to give you this sense of completeness, just this sense of reaching the end of something. But in reality, like, that's not true. You just are always hungry for more. That feeling can give you a sense of disappointment because you're like, oh, I've reached this goal I've been working on forever. Why don't I feel complete? But in reality, life is not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I know that sounds cheesy or whatever, but it's true. And I feel like birthdays are a cultural representation of that because you're expected to feel good and celebrated and complete ending another year of your life. But when you don't feel that way, you get this sense of disappointment on yourself. Like, well, did I really accomplish anything if I don't feel complete by this point? And then on top of that, you're comparing yourself to everything else. Yeah, so like this says, it's the belief that once you achieve your goal or once that thing you really want actually comes to fruition, that everything will be better. Suddenly, your life will be perfect and you'll have the time to do the things that you want. It's a myth, it's a fallacy, and in reality, once you get to the thing, the goalpost just changes. Because humans, we always want and want and want. It's never enough, no matter what. So you have to like, I always have to remind myself to just look around and think, what are things that I can be present in right now that make me grateful for my life, aka the journey. I can't live without these things. I like don't buy pop. This is all I keep in my house. But in reality, I don't know what it is that the sense of arrival is, or even how to properly celebrate it. Because like I've gotten my degree, I thought I would be somewhere different than where I am at 25 right now. And I'm constantly comparing to who I thought that I was going to be. And in reality, we do set these expectations on ourselves without just enjoying the process of what it takes to get there. Me making this video is also me saying that I need to remind myself to be present in the journey and not focus on the arrival because the arrival is just an illusion. It's not real. I'm always going to be arriving in life, showing up in life in different ways. And then at the end of the day, happiness is intrinsic and cannot be measured by a milestone. You have to be happy on your way to the milestone. And I guess on top of that, something I've noticed is that relationships do change the older you get. And at 25 specifically, like I guess in the last year, the climate between the dynamics in my life has just completely done a 180. I mean, I've kind of always been a parent to the people in my life and my family, but the older I get, the more emotionally unaware those around me become too. And I feel like they all depend on my emotional awareness. Hi. It depends on my emotional awareness and what I'm going to be doing for them or what I have to bring to the table. And then having to juggle your life on top of that and on top of being a guide to everybody else in your life too can be exhausting. And there's a term for that. It's called parentification. And I am going to do a video on that in the future because that's always been a big part of my life. And I think that there's a lot of people who could benefit from talking about it or just listening about it because it's one of the things that weighs on me the most. And then I also noticed that in your early and mid 20s, people start making really bad decisions, bad relationships, bad financial decisions, bad moral decisions, getting in trouble. And then you start looking around like these people I care about so much have made bad decisions and I can't save them. I can't I can't do anything for them. They have to figure this out on their own. So you teeter the line of unconditional love and unconditional support and then having to protect and preserve your energy and peace. And I just don't know how specifically to navigate that. But I think this is the age where I'm starting to really figure it out. And then also, you do meet people who you've been close to for a long time and they remain so stagnant that your growth triggers jealousy within them and resentment. And there's no reason why they feel resentful towards you other than it's a projection of their own insecurity and jealousy. And it's kind of a hard feeling because it's like, why are you starting to hate me for no reason? Like, why? What have I done other than focus on my growth and my success and my good decisions? And not even that I'm successful by any means, but my mentality is a framework for success. Like, even though I'm not quite there yet, even though success really is subjective and immeasurable and it's self reported, I guess. So, I guess you just really have to think about what success means to you and what you could do to get there. But people who are negative and they don't have a measurement for success and they don't know what success means to them, they're going to look at your happiness and your success and resent you for it. And that's something that I'm grieving at this age, is that the people who I love dearly and are close to me and won't grow up in that way, what are you going to do about it? You know, all you could do is just try to love them and guide them and support them, but not at the cost of your own peace. So, moving on, I think mortality is a big one. Birthdays are a measurement of mortality. You'll have people at your fifth birthday party, videos, pictures, memories, gifts from them, and then at your 25th birthday, they're not there. And when you're a kid, you don't really think that, oh my gosh, like these memories are short lived. This is all I'm going to have of this person. Like, you don't fully understand grief or loss or a lot of things when you're a kid. It's not until you get older. And then maybe if you've experienced immense loss as a teenager, you kind of start to understand. Like, I feel like I really started to get a grasp on my mortality as a teenager due to grief and loss. But my understanding of mortality just gets deeper and deeper the older I get, and trying to juggle the mortality of the people that I love. Like, I need to spend more time with them. I need to be kinder. I need to be more unconditional. I need to be more forgiving. I need to call them more, text them more, on top of work and relationships and friends and hobbies and school or whatever it is that you have to do. Juggling the mortality of everybody else and everybody that you love, because you know that time isn't guaranteed. And I feel like birthdays are a harsh reminder of that also, because it's a measurement of, I need to love these people harder because in a few birthdays they might not be here. And maybe that changes when you have kids. I'm not a mom, I'm not a parent. I'm sure that some of you watching this are probably parents, and you'll have to let me know if that dynamic changes when you do have children. Because I do notice, like, even around my godchildren, their birthdays are so fun. Like, they're so full of love, and I don't even know how to explain it other than just like brightness and positivity and growth. Like, it's just a representation of growth for them. But I feel like the older we get, it's like, I don't want to age anymore. I don't want to get closer to death. But aging doesn't even equate, I guess aging does equate to death, but life is not guaranteed, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe one day having children will make those times magical again. And maybe I'm stuck in this weird limbo of not knowing how to quite create the magic myself. I try in different ways. Like, I'm having a birthday party, I'm having my friends and family come. I'm going to go to my family cabin. I love it there. I try to go every year for my birthday and just disconnect with my friends. And I'm very blessed to have all these things. But it just sits in the back of my mind, these aspects that I have listed here, of why I have the birthday blues and why every year it feels like they get worse and worse. And if there's ever going to be a period in time where it transitions into something good again or something new again. But I guess in a way, that's all I have to say on that. And maybe some of you could get something from this video and my rant, and get something from this new yap-let that I've created for myself. And that we could all just kind of chime in and make each other feel better about our birthday blues. So feel free to comment down below and share your feelings or your experiences, or maybe even when a birthday changed for you. Like, if you remember a specific moment in time where you realized, this day is different now. I would love to hear it. So, thank you guys so much for everything. And until we meet again.